You are listening to the Gritty Podcast, where we talk about all things gritty. All right, folks, welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I'm Brian Call. I've got Brad Hunt here, and we're at Huntin Full today. We got up early this morning, like 4 a.m., jumped in the rig.
3:20.
And, yeah, Brad lives in Preston. He's all the way from Idaho. And cruised down here. Wanted to see you guys. We've never met, like, really face-to-face and spent much time together. So this is cool. I've been watching your film, Jared, because I'm obsessed with desert sheep, because I'm making a little desert sheep movie. I didn't even get to go on that hunt, by the way. Jay shot it before I got there, so I still have not been on a sheep hunt ever.
Right on three.
But I got to film it. But yeah, I've been watching the Huntin Full films for quite a while, and really impressed with what you guys are putting out. And then I wanted to meet the guys, get to know you guys a little bit more. And Jeremiah, he's a mutual friend of ours. I filmed his sheep hunt, and he was really grateful. He talks about it too much. I cut it out of the film. You know,
he gave us too much
like,
credit.
That Jared guy, he's great. Thank him so much. In between tears, after he knows it's dead and he got himself a sheep. No, it was good. And so we were able to make a little introduction. I'm glad I'm here. We've been hanging out all day. We just did a podcast with you guys here. But what I want to do is quickly go around the horn here, quick introduction, see what you guys do here at Huntin Full. And here we go, Garth. So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So Garth Jensen, I've been here for, I don't know, going on 10 years now. My primary role here is hunt advisor. I manage the hunt advisors here at the Huntin Full. But day-to-day operations, I mean, taking calls, writing strategies, doing state sections, gathering data, all the above.
Nice.
I'd also say Garth is one of the most underrated killers in the office.
He's sneaky.
Ooh, I like
Sneaky.
Wow.
Doesn't have a big social media presence. Like, there's a lot of like big deer in his basement you'll never see.
Hey, hold on. I'm like putting two and two together. He's the skinny one here. He must be killer. No, I'm just kidding. Ouch. I'm just kidding.
Garth, what's your favorite kind of hunts right now? I already know the answer to this.
I don't even know.
Sam.
Oh, yeah.
I'll answer this for you.
Yeah. Definitely with my daughter. I mean, honestly, like I feel like I'm at a stage in my life now to where I've had the opportunity to go on plenty of hunts. I got in the application game early, so I've been fortunate enough to go on a lot of good hunts. And I think my enjoyment level now gets more ramped up seeing someone else tackle that and sharing their enjoyment. And my daughter's really taking a liking to it. And so,
What age is she?
Right now she's 16 going on 17. She'll be 17 here in a month.
She's a killer too.
Really?
She killed more stuff than, well, it's not hard to kill more stuff than me, but she killed more stuff than most of us in this office this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, but she really keeps me passionate about it for sure.
Hey, everybody. If you like the show and you want to support us, head on over to Mountain Ops. If you're in need of a new merino hoodie, or you want some workout clothes, or you just want a little pick-me-up. I like the Mountain Ops Ignite, especially like the pink lemonade flavor. It's a good one. I recommend that. Head on over to Mountain Ops, use the code GRITTY. You're going to save, and it's going to help us keep bringing you the show. Thanks for tuning in. Now, let's get back to the show. I've got a 16-year-old. I don't like the whole dating thing. I'm finding like any guy she dates, I don't like. Just by default. Yeah, it's a hard thing as a dad.
Yep.
16. I'm just trying to get to 17. That's where I'm at.
It sneaks up on you.
Yeah, it does. I have a 21-year-old daughter and a 19-year-old daughter. And then I have a 16-year-old.
Yeah, as you relate, Garth, like to the new avenue of somebody else pulling tag. Like my oldest boy this year was his first year being able to like big game hunt and stuff. And gosh, I honestly could like care less.
Changes
me
your life.
Pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
And I tell the story a couple times. I'm like, I never thought I could get so jacked up over a stupid turkey. Never killed a turkey. Don't have any desire to kill a turkey. And when he shot his turkey, I shook more with that turkey than I did my wolf, my coos deer, like anything I've shot. And I So I kind of relate to where you're at with that. You know.
I hope Brady doesn't put this in the film. I mean, he filmed me and Sam last year on a elk hunt in Colorado, and she was pretty calm. Like, we had a bull coming across the hillside, and I mean, I'm jumping around on this side of her, getting down. Can you see it? Are you on the right one? Where are you at? Oh, and then I grabbed the gun. She's like, I had him. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Rearrange. What are you dialed? I mean,
I've people have watched Ryan Lampers on the films that we do for a long
cool,
time.
and collected.
And then you get him with his daughter for the first time, and I'm like, dude, mother hen, like, back off. And he's like, and he's giving her these. I'm like, you've never helped me in the heat of the moment, calm down or anything, nothing. So, dads and their daughters, it's that's cool. I'm excited to see it. When is Brady going to get this film out?
I don't know. He's working on it.
It's going to be really good. Balls. It's not looking good. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Coming soon.
We'll see.
The reason I mentioned that, though, is because Garth won't say this, but I feel like Garth's desire to help our members is just as strong as his desire to help his daughter, etc. Like, what he said was he's had a lot of his own success, and he really enjoys reveling in the process of helping others succeed too. So
I want to hear about that.
He won't say that about himself, but I will.
I want to hear kind of what a typical day is like for you with this application service. First, though, Isaiah
Joner. I've been here 8 years this month, so never thought I would move to Utah to come and work at Huntin. I worked with Jared prior at Trophy Taker Archery, and shoot, I remember building a site for Garth one day there, thinking, it's Garth Jensen. I get to build him an archery site.
The Garth Jensen.
Yeah, that was the one that come loose.
My wife got pregnant. I was in between guiding and working at Trophy Taker, and Jared offered me a job. I declined it the first time, I think, just because I didn't want to move.
He has commitment issues.
Yeah.
And then, I figured it was time to grow up, so I came down here and been stuck ever since.
Cool.
So,
and you do?
I run our booking agency division, so Huntin Adventures. We brought that on board 3 years ago, so we help clients book hunts pretty much worldwide right now. So it's a fun job. I mean, you get to help people go on a lot of firsts. I mean, you get to spend $110,000 for some of these guys to book a sheep hunt. So it's pretty incredible.
Pocket change.
Yeah.
Some change.
It's sobering.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very sobering. Yeah.
So where'd you move from?
I moved from Plains, Montana down here. So
you screwed up, man.
One day, like, it's still the end goal to get back up there.
See, that's why you go to the
uninvited.
You go to the border of Utah and say, I'm not giving up my Idaho residency.
Just by your lifetime.
That's true.
I know. I'm working on that. I'm going to do the whole lifetime thing.
Yeah, I bought one before I left.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that happen. Okay, Jared.
Yeah, Jared Lyle. I'm the CEO here at Huntin. I've been here for just a little over 8 years, not much before Isaiah got here. I had a really interesting background. My dad was kind of like a gypsy, and my mom was let's try everything. So I've lived in Alaska, multiple places, wall tents in southern Idaho and northern Nevada, trapping coyotes and bobcats, commercial fished in Dillingham, Alaska for 7 years, 7 summers, logged, did a little bit of everything, got lucky and had a friend who started an archery brand in Montana. That's where Isaiah and I met. I grew up in Salmon, Idaho for the most part. That was home base. And then moved up to Montana to take that job and was the GM there for 14 years. And then wound up down here where Austin can keep his watchful eye on me and his heavy thumb keep me in line.
Is that true, Austin?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I can't find him to put my thumb on him.
I think they could say the same thing about you.
They like to work from home a lot.
Yeah. There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm Austin Atkinson. I've been here almost 10 years at Huntin. Ooh, next month, 10 years.
Wow.
Time does fly. But I come from Phoenix, Arizona, so I grew up a little different than hunting all the time, like you guys up in Idaho and Montana. I grew up playing the application game. Yeah. That was the only way to get a tag in Arizona. So still have never missed a year in the draw in Arizona since I've been eligible. All I have is a bunch of points, and that's it so far. But
hey, there's always a chance in Arizona.
Always a chance. But came up here. I kind of worked as a part-time guide. I realized I couldn't afford to go on big high adventure hunts, so I started guiding to supplement my income a little bit, but mainly to have experiences and help people in the field. I really enjoyed taking hunters on their first ever hunt, or taking kids or somebody on a sheep hunt that I couldn't afford myself. So kind of went the guiding route. And then here at Huntinful now, I run operations, a lot of the day-to-day tasks, and editor of the magazine. So I deal with the magazine that comes out every month and making sure it's delivered and has all the correct information in it. So.
Wow. All right. Let's say we have this audience is listening. Okay. They want to get tags. They don't know where to begin. It's been, some of them are doing some applications. They're not that experienced, but they want to hunt. What's your recommendation? Where do they start?
What I'll say is most people start the application game or start applying out west because their friend or someone told them to.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they read something on a forum that may be true, may be outdated, or someone said, hey, you should do this because I do this. And so they start going down this path, not knowing where it's going to take them, where they're going to end up, or if they're going to go hunting. But we found that everybody wants more opportunities. They don't want to waste their time, and they want to make the best value of their money.
Right.
And so being a hunting service company, we say, come to us first. Right? We won't invalidate what your friend may have told you, but we're going to interpret that into what it looks like for your strategy. For example, Brian, if your friend said, hey, start buying Wyoming antelope points because it's a really good thing. Okay, so you start buying them. 6 to 8 years later, you're like, I don't even know if I can hunt an antelope up there. Do I have enough? How much does it cost? When do I apply? So hunters, we try to get them to come to us, and we'll help you build a strategy that's for you. So there's no turnkey solution from Huntinful of here's the keys, good luck. No, we will help you tailor your plan, the species that are most important to you, your budget, your timing, where you're a resident of, right? Because I'm not going to sell you on an over-the-counter elk hunt, Brad, where you got Idaho opportunities that you may be interested in javelina or Barbary sheep in New Mexico, something that you're missing. And so we try to highlight those opportunities you're missing, use your budget wisely, and put together an annual plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan for you to achieve your hunting goals. It doesn't matter if you're a DIY guy or you're guided just booking hunts, really doesn't matter. But our consultations always start with a question, discovery of who you are and what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
Garth, you got anything?
Well, I was just say, really, realistically, it is learning the client. Like, we want to know all about them before we come up with that strategy. So that initial phone call was big. Just to find out what his or their wants and needs are, and if they are guided, if they aren't guided. I mean, it's easier to make that connection when you're visiting with someone, and it's more impactful, and it sinks into them a little bit more after they get off the phone and they're like, yeah, we walked A to Z. Like, I kind of have my path right now.
It sounds super appealing. I've missed too many tag applications. I get busy and I miss a state. I got points in various states I'm going for. I miss deadlines, and I don't quite know. It's always, I tend to get myself, it's midnight, do midnight, and it's like 11:30, and I'm trying to get my thing in, and now I'm like, which unit was it? And I'm better, but I've gone through that a number of times. And for me, I've been like, it's been harder and harder to get a tag as I've gotten older. I remember when I was like dreaming of even a sheep hunt, I could swing that. It's too expensive for me now. And then you can just kind of across the board. There's still really cool, affordable hunts out there that you can do as a non-resident, that you can get a tag in, pretty handily. But to me nowadays, if you really want to hunt a bunch, you really need to have a multi-state, multi-year strategy.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And if you can put that together and then not mess it up, but the DIY thing where you're like researching yourself, that's a lot of time. I've done it. We've done it. And I think a lot of people aren't applying because they're like, I mean to get to it, but then I don't get around to it.
There's a lot of noise, a lot of very messy noise in the industry. And some people tend to look to this research for their hunts, just what's ever in their feed, whatever they're scrolling through. Oh, someone mentioned this, someone mentioned that. And there's not really a source of truth, if you will. And going to the state itself or going to the state regulations is often a disaster. Trying to interpret
55 pages of PDF and draw results from the year before. And it's like, how many guys applied? And I can't read it.
Exactly. So we'll be your Cliff Notes version and help you get right to the answer and not waste your time. But chances are you're missing more opportunities out there than you realize. There's no excuse. It used to be, hey, just get into the point game and you'll draw tags. That used to be the staple right here. But it's not that anymore. It's, yeah, keep applying for that and getting some points. But did you know you could go here, here, and here in the interim, or you could take your kids hunting here now? So we're big advocates of not waiting, not just building points. Like, let's make a plan and let's go hunting. If you're not hunting every year, it's your own fault.
I was going to say, you guys can correct me if you're wrong, because you're the experts on this. Like, take elk for example.
He's a resident. He just gets his Idaho tags every
That is
year.
true, and that is the exception. I will say,
he's not normal. He's not like the rest of us.
Correct.
He's in a different
Correct.
bucket.
100%. And I will be the first to admit that. But I will say, even in states like Utah or whatever, there are opportunities to hunt elk every year. Now, you might not be chasing 400 class bulls or even 300 class bulls. But
wait, is that what you're chasing in Idaho?
Jeez.
I'm chasing like, I'm the 150 guy. 5 point is down. No. But there are opportunities. And I think for a lot of people, that is where the misunderstanding is. And you guys, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that there are opportunities. You may have to work a little harder. You may only be hunting a spike elk, but
Hey, that's like the most fun hunt I do every year now.
Chicken of the sea.
When I moved down here, I don't know why it took me so long to figure out I could hunt spikes every year. Like, so until 3 years ago, I was like, oh, dang, this is fun. You get to go to some of the best units in the state, be around giant bulls bugling, and have an awesome time doing it.
build points.
Yeah.
Scout for that time you do draw that tag, but you still get to hunt, and then you're still getting points to other states.
This is about the only state that when you start pulling trail cam photos and there's like a herd of 6 spikes on there, like people start to pay attention. It's like, wait a minute, where was that at?
You found a spike?
Yeah. Not 1, 6 of them. Well, that's a magic canyon.
Right. We're getting more and more people who just want to hunt elk for the first time too, you know? And that's a great example. Utah is a great example because very few places can you come and be around elk and watch elk in their most natural behavior and actually have a tag in your pocket too. You can hunt the archery cow or spike tag every single year. If you've got fast enough fingers, you can get the multi-season spike tag. But the bottom line is it gives you an opportunity to actually hunt elk. And then when you finally get that tag, you don't have quite that anxiety.
Experience.
It's like, hey, I've been around these things before. I know what it sounds like when a bull elk rips off a bugle 60 yards away in the trees. You know, it's still going to make you pee down your leg, I hope. Otherwise, why do it, right? But the point is that experience matters. I think
really
our mutual pal Dan Staten calls it reps in the red zone.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly,
For sure.
there's a lot of opportunities for that can also put meat in the freezer.
Right. There are a lot of opportunities all over. It's just, again, I think sometimes you have to work a little harder to find those tags. And I do feel, like Huntin Fool or whoever.
Austin, you mentioned, if you're not hunting every year, you should be. You could be. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, what I mean by that is it depends on your species, but building an alternating type strategy where, hey, this year I'm going to go to Montana and maybe hunt the general elk and deer tag, and knowing that it's about an every other year, maybe every third year type rotation. So start putting that on your schedule, then work in a Utah hunt, then work in a Colorado deer hunt that you can draw on 1 to 3 points. And depending on how much time you have in your schedule, Wyoming, just start building in all these tags that are easier to get, still applying for the once in a lifetime, really tough limited tags. But why are you not hunting elk and deer every single year somewhere? And if you're willing to look at other states and different weapon types, different season dates. There's no reason to not hunt more.
Yeah.
It's sad for us, honestly, when a guy has waited, built up 10 to 20 or 30 points, finally goes on this hunt, and he basically loses it. He wasn't prepared. He didn't know what to expect. He'd never been around elk or seen them. He didn't know the elevation.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this your first time in this area doing this? You could have been here for another species. You could have been here on a different weapon. There's no excuse to just wait for the lottery to hit and to draw a tag.
Well, and a lot of these aren't premier hunts either. I mean, you're going to be dealing with hunt pressure and, you know, even if you see a, you know, raghorn bull, that might be, you know, average for what most people are going to get. But again, it's all about the experience, getting time in the field. And I mean, a lot of these areas too that have general unit hunts, you never know when you're going to stumble upon like a 180 muley or 350 bull. Right? If you're not out there, then yeah, you're not going to find anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, it is odd when you tell someone that's been applying for years and years and years, and chances are they're not going for some of these types of hunts. But when you tell them, I was booked, like I've had way more hunts than I could go on this year, out west on public land.
Yeah,
and they look at you like, that's not what I heard. You know, you can't draw tags out west. Like it's just it's not feasible. You can't draw more tags than you can actually go on, and yet every single year. I mean, it's not because we live out here. We're able to do that because we live out here and it's close. You know, we can bounce over to this state and that state. But, I mean, we'll have cow
stuff
tags.
to get the tag in your pocket, and you had tags galore.
Yep.
Every one of us eat tags every year that we don't even go hunt.
Like, it killed me not to go on that cow hunt with my daughter just, like, that ended on the 31st. And I was like, oh. But just couldn't do it.
You'd already been out of the office for like 6 months.
The boss told me to rein it in.
Yeah, I wish I could do that with Ryan Lampers.
You know, Brian, one thing, like you guys were talking about how people come into our ecosystem. People usually come in like one of two paths. They either come in with kind of a DIY mentality or a concierge mentality. And we have the team to handle both of your needs, right? A big portion of who Garth consults is the DIY community. They're going to read all 1,500 pages of the content that we generate on an annual basis. They're going to devour it. They're going to look at the unit descriptions, the harvest statistics, on and on and on. And then they're going to call Garth and they're going to ask him, hey, I'm thinking about this unit, that unit, that unit. What do you think? You know, and then we go through that whole process. The other, like, say 15 to 20% want us to help them. They want us to do their applications for them. We love that. We'll take care of you. You'll never miss a deadline. It'll be right every time. We'll consult with you and make sure that when you finally draw a tag, it's the right one. The same thing's true with like Isaiah on the booking side. A lot of times those concierge people are like, I don't want to come out and do a DIY hunt. I want to find the right outfitter. And so we have a unique take here at Huntin' Fool where we'll meet you where you're at. And I think that's what Austin was saying. It's like, if you're DIY and at least semi-confident, we'll help boost your confidence and maybe give you that little shove out of the nest that you need to say, yeah, get that hunt, buy that tag, go. Conversely, if you're a little bit more risk averse and you want to make sure somebody else is helping you take care of it a little more, we've got that too.
Tell me this, people that, let's say, sign up for application services and you're helping them get their tags put in and they do it state by state, right? It's state by state. So if you want to do like Alaska, nobody wants California.
Well, even,
That's true.
Nevada,
even the western,
you're a
like even
California
eastern
resident,
states,
then we encourage
Massachusetts, Kentucky.
Idaho, Montana, whatever. Like they pick their 3-4 states that they're like, okay, I want to hone in on these. I want your help on those. I want to not miss deadlines and I want cool tags. Okay. So you got that guy. How many of those people stick around?
Like for longevity of that client?
Yeah.
On average, I would say, I don't know the actual, because I haven't, like, this would be more bro science, but I would say 70 to 80% of them retention. I mean, once they realize the value in having us apply them and actually diving in, and we become friends with them, right? We have either annual, semi-annual, sometimes we'll call them every single state we apply them for. You know, and we'll go over, hey, this is what it is. Like this is what your opportunities are. You're at this point level now. These are some of your options. You know, is it something you want to take advantage of this year or not? And we have those consultations. And like I say, we become friends with a lot of our license application clients. And the nice thing is we do have a great team that, you know, even if I don't know that much about Montana, we have teammates up there that know everything about Montana. Same thing for Oregon or California.
Yeah.
You know, so once we talk to them and they go through a few seasons, they're like, man, that was turnkey.
Worth it.
You know what I mean? Because at that point, they don't have to think about it after the conversation, because then we take all of that conversation, put those into the application, have a bunch of notes on their application species, what they actually want. I mean, we'll have guidelines in there that will say, we're building points now. Let's take Arizona. Like we talked about that earlier. Why are you just putting in for points? Like put in for the hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're gone out of country for that. Yeah. Like put in for that. And we'll have notes on there that like, hey, we're putting in for trophy right now, but that's not because this person only wants trophy animals. We're putting in for trophy right now because in lieu of just building points, 5 years down the road, let's revisit this and let's see where you're at, land on this point scale. Overall, he wants to go on a pretty awesome archery hunt for 320, 340 bulls. But we have all that in there and they don't have to think about it after that. Yeah. Like we have it dialed.
Well, it doesn't stop there too. I mean, once they draw the tag, they can call Garth back up and say, I've got the tag now. Now what?
Yep.
I think we take for granted we get to talk amongst each other, you know, every day, all the time. And so like the amount of help that like even like an advisor can provide once you get the tag, I mean, it could make or break it. I mean, there's so many guys that I believe, like Garth talks, I mean, we all talk to that they'll come up to Garth at the show and be like, man, here's a picture of the deer I killed. And it's because, you know, he helped me out on this hunt.
It's awesome too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the most gratifying things about this job.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask is tell me an experience that's really rewarding with somebody that you've been working with. Do you have like a client, by the way, too, that's like been here since day one and still here?
I've got a guy I work with, Mark from Georgia, and he's like in the first dozen of our clients that we've been applying. And older gentleman, right? He was early on in the point schedule, but
when did Huntin' Full get founded?
96.
Yeah,
right, 1996. So we're basically in our 30th year coming on of everything. So it's a long time. I haven't been there that long, but Mark's been with us forever, and as he's gotten a little bit older, right? He's aging, and every year when we revisit, he's like, you know what? You probably shouldn't put me in for that wilderness goat hunt. I'm probably not going to be able to do that if I draw. So we make some adjustments. But last year, he had the points to draw his Arizona Desert Bighorn sheep tag. So
wow,
we knew he had about a 50-50 shot because he had max points. We put him in. He drew it. Oh, he was elated, right? He's finally going to get his desert sheep. And literally couple of weeks later, he hits the random in Nevada and draws another Desert Bighorn sheep tag with almost no points. What? And he got to kill 2 Desert Bighorns within 48 hours of each other. He went to Arizona and killed, drove to Nevada and killed, and he's just like, over the moon. You know, it works out. But
yeah,
he has been loyal.
I've mentioned that in the last film even. Why can't these things happen to me? I swear they happen to everyone but me. You know, I could use a little luck like that. Hey, if you like our show and you want to support us, you can do that by shopping at Stealthy Hunter. Great partner of ours. They sell rifle covers, which we use on every single hunt. They sell glassing pads. They sell supplements. They got CBD gummies, other products over there. Check it out. Make sure you use the code GRITTY. And now, back to the show.
That is the joy of this is, yeah, here in the group, there's about 40 of us here at Huntin' Full. We draw some cool tags.
Yeah.
But nothing like our members draw.
Yeah.
We have thousands of members. We keep track of a draw database. So a member can opt in to be in the database, which means we'll share their information with the next guy that draws.
Okay.
So if you drew a tag, you have no idea where to start. You can call every Huntin' Full member that has drawn that in the past on a list and contact them, create a friendship, and maybe get some information to give you a leg up.
That's really
cool. So building that community of thousands of hunters that are hunting way more than we could ever hunt as a team is what makes us powerful.
Some people might think this is an expensive thing to try to get help like this. Probably just assume. But what is it? What is it if a guy wants to get help with a state on application services, if he wants a consult, stuff like that.
Yeah, if they want to, and again, you can come into the membership, and or you can also come in as a license application client. They are kind of parallel items, but they're separate. License application client, it's $55 a state, and then $10 per species in addition to that. So you got some states like Arizona that has 3 separate draw periods, right? And so you only pay that state fee one time to us, and then each time we apply you for a species, it's $10. So it's pretty economical. On average, most of our clients spend around $350 a year on our fees. And we use your...
To sort of put together the sort of hunt plan that you were talking about earlier, Austin.
Correct.
You're trying to make sure you get all those tags across a few states.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And honestly, the sky's the limit. If you apply for 20 states, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
We do use our clients' credit cards for the state fees. So you come in, Brian, and you decide you want to be a license application client. We're going to get all your data, all your state logins, everything else. The onboarding process is a little bit painful because, again, it's a government agency that we're plugging into, and it's never very clean, right? But we're gonna hold your hand through that. We're gonna get you all spooled up. And then at that point, we're going to bill your credit card for your fees with the state, and then we'll assess our fees separately. And it's very clean cut. We never blend the fees together. You see Huntin' Fool completely separate from Idaho.
Yeah, right.
And those fees are there whether you're working with Huntin' Fool or not.
Yeah,
Sure.
correct.
Like those are kind of sunk in a way, but I like how you're...
Yeah, there's nothing extra that
organized,
we charge you
right.
with the state. Those are all set. It's just our fees that we're talking about here today.
Yeah. $350 a year. Pretty, I mean, at this stage, because I'm old and got more money
And busy.
that's a no-brainer. It really is like easy. But I don't want to, I don't want to make some young guy that I post a gear dump. I'll have us people really hate my guts because the whole gear dump is like $8,000 worth out of my back.
Wives that are
nothing
sending you
else,
hate
just
mail.
what was in the pack itself. And I don't really notice it because I collected it over years. And
8,800.
and it's free and all that, and people would be like, hey man, I can't do that. I can't afford it. And then there's other guys that are like, give me all the SKUs and where to get them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write the check now. People are all at different stages.
Everyone's in a different stage. And it's like, I take me, for example, it took me 10 years to build up my kit. And obviously, I'm very fortunate now. I get a lot of stuff or get to use a lot of stuff. But man, I'll tell you what, 15 years ago, it sucked.
Yep.
And so I just every year would buy just like a little piece of gear. Like, hey, what do I need this year? I think everybody can do the same.
Before I came to work at Huntin' Fool, I think I applied in. I started buying points in Wyoming because you're just like, it's a good baseline to get started in. It's fairly cheap. But then, coming here, I don't apply in every state across the West. There's some that just don't make sense to me. But, if you're not applying, I've drawn 2 pretty dang good New Mexico tags in the last 5 years. Totally random draw.
Right.
And again, if you're not applying, you have 0 chance at getting
Wayne
those
Gretzky.
tags.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, there's no question there. It sounds to me, because I have Wyoming was one that I put in for 8 years and then lost all my points. I'm an idiot. 2 years in a row, I just wet the bed, And then my buddy Anthony, he's been like, I'm too cheap to keep applying. I'm just going to let my points go. It's going to take too long to get the points I want, and I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm a resident of Idaho, and I'm just going to do this. I think that the stage I'm at, and a lot of people that are tuning in, for $55, $65 to have you take care of that process for them, pretty minimal investment, considering the amount of time it takes to achieve your goals doing your own research. How often do people what would you say the misinformation of, I don't like that word, the lack of quality information, say a guy's out there, he's looking, okay?
/ lack of knowledge, maybe.
I think what I noticed in 96, 97, 98, early in the day, especially pre-Huntin' Fool, you would hear from your buddies, you got to get the unit blah in Arizona. unit 10, whatever. That's the one.
Word of mouth.
Yep. And everybody and their dog applied to that unit because that's the famous unit. That's the unit. They didn't even know what the other ones were.
Right.
How much of that do you think is going on where people are missing out on tag opportunities because they're just sort of, picking based on data available that's out there kind of in the public, general idea, and you can only use so many hours. They dive in, they look at it, and they're just making a really poor choice.
I think, Brian, a lot of guys are making mistakes because of changes. And so they get set. Maybe, I was just supposed to build points for elk for this unit in Arizona 20 years ago. These states are making so many changes year to year. It may not even be the same as it was 2 years ago. And so you're like, oh, I think I'm just supposed to buy points there again. Well, the game may have totally changed. Wyoming's pulled the rug out from under us, changed the game. Colorado's done the same, changing their quotas, changing the deadlines, changing the fees, changing the entire way the draw is run.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed that Wyoming one because they moved the application up like a month. And I'm like, oh, dude.
Well, they also
the
moved
point only period. Maybe that's what it was.
Out.
Yeah.
Yep.
They moved the preference point out. You can't even, like so many of our members, the DIY side, right? If you're a licensed application client, we got you. But if you're DIY, they thought, well, I applied for Wyoming elk, so I got my preference point.
Yep.
It's like, no, Wyoming said, you can't even do that. Yep. You got to apply now in January,
right?
And then you got to buy your point in the late summer and fall.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
And people miss it. And in Wyoming, like you said, Brian, 2 years of not getting it right.
You lose all those years.
They wipe all your points out.
Gone.
Well, and I think to your point.
Well, before that, like I grew up in Oregon, so I got like 10 points for a few species and hunts down there, antelope, but antelope are lame. So I don't.
They're so delicious.
You can't
They
draw
are
one
good
for
eating.
10 points anyway.
Yeah, I haven't. The truth is, I haven't applied. I left there with 10 points, like in 2016. I quit applying, and so I still have 10 when I could have built.
You'd be at
more.
20.
Yeah.
And but I got a lot of blacktail deer points and Willamette Valley points and other stuff. But that is a job, man. Staying up with it, paying on top of it. And if Oregon says, hey, the application from now on, if you miss a year, you lose your points, I wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't know.
Well, and to your point, Austin, sometimes it's for the better for a client, because some states will all of a sudden be like, oh, hey, guess what? This year, their quota, the elk numbers, they do a count, and they're like, we're going to issue 100 more bull tags this year.
Sure.
So then it throws more people into the lottery, and they're trying to turn over guys that are at max points or that are getting the point creep. So it can benefit guys if you guys know about it, others don't.
How do you guys feel morally about
What we
the
do.
fact of what you do? Shame, helping people get tags. How dare you? No, seriously. How much heat do you guys get on that? Because it is your job.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stigma of, oh, Huntin just ruins the draws, or you ruin this unit, or you ruined this with a YouTube video, or you told everyone to apply here. It's like, there really is no secrets. It's our job to catalog it, organize it, and share it with those that we consider to be like a hunting buddy.
Our community.
I'm not going to call a guy on the phone and tell him the exact drainage I hunted in last year, but I would love to tell a guy, hey, when you hunt late season elk, this is what I found works in this type of topography. And here's another guy you could call that may have some better information. Here's a biologist you could call. And we just line them up for success so they can find their own success. Mm-hmm. We're not an encyclopedia of all the right answers. We're just genuine hunters that want to help.
I kind of see some of it also as a dispersal. You're instead of everyone kind of going for these same traditional kind of spots, you're like, there's this obscure opportunity over here, and this guy's in this state, and there's this one over there, and it actually takes the pressure off some of these other spots and opens it up. I kind of look at it like this. I don't think hunting survives without a passionate community of hunters who value it.
Yep.
And the only way, I mean, you can value it somewhat just by it being a spectator, but the true believers are the people who pull the trigger, people who go out and suffer and pack that meat out, harvest it, eat it, consume it, share it with their family. So I think it's, we're all stuck in this position where we don't want anybody to crowd in on our hunting spot, and we also want everyone to love hunting and do it. They don't.
It's a conundrum.
Yep.
And it always will be. And I think this is how I always look at it.
I think you have to look at it from an abundance perspective. You can't do scarcity.
Yep.
You have to think, okay, well, as the demand goes up, we'll invent new ways, new opportunities. We'll increase herds. There's the demand goes up. We'll do things. We've resorted to a lot of wolf hunting because there's a lot of it available,
and they're cool,
and it's awesome.
Really cool.
And now, you know, we can march out there in the dead of winter and do some really badass hunts. And okay, we're not hunting elk because we didn't get a tag, but we could spend 2 weeks hunting wolves, and it's killer.
Well, and I think
And
there
you're
are
helping elk.
yeah, and there are a lot of times that, especially you take, say, a new hunter that has the ambition and goes out and kind of figures it out on his own, but he doesn't understand maybe the ethics behind it or sharing hunt spots, or those are just some scenarios, whatever. But when someone can teach them, you know, this is a little bit of like hunt etiquette, whatever you want to call it, then they can teach those that they help, and it in turn helps everybody. Where it could hurt everybody if nobody's teaching that.
It's true.
Being able to share like I said, not a spot, but an opportunity for somebody, the experience you get with it, like it's invaluable.
Super rewarding.
We want to be your guide, right? Like, you're going to be the hero of your own story. Like, I'm not going to be there on your hunt. I'm hopefully get a picture when you're done, but we're going to guide you into that experience. And so you don't waste your time and you get to go do it. One thing I was going to bring up about missed opportunities is youth hunting. Youth hunting continues to evolve. In the state of Utah, you used to have to be 16 years old to shoot big game. Then it went to 14. Then it went to 12.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
12, 10.
It keeps going down. So it's changed substantially. And so if you are not hunting with your kids or exploring all these opportunities, I have 6 kids, so I'm a little passionate about it. My oldest just barely turned 12, so she shot her first elk this year. But if you weren't on top of those opportunities, it is not the same as an adult game. When you start looking at youth opportunities, it's cheaper. They're all over.
Look at whitetail hunts.
And they're
There's
missed.
a lot of whitetail hunts available for kids at 6 years old, 8 years old, whatever. There's opportunities, turkey hunting, whatever.
We get criticized here by blowing up spots, right? It's like, oh, no one knew about this unit until you guys put it in your magazine.
No, you hold it all to yourself. You keep secrets.
Oh yeah. So that's how you kill the big bucks.
Yeah. But it is one thing that if you can talk to that individual, and like you're saying, you kind of tell them how to go about the hunt, not necessarily where to go. I hate giving spots because it doesn't do anything for that individual.
Right.
If you tell him where to go and he goes there and he finds success, he's like, wow, that's awesome. But the reason he connects that to success is because he had a good spot, not because he figured out how to hunt. And the longer you're in here, the one thing you can realize is that your spot that you're hunting now, that's your honey hole, was probably someone else's honey hole before you got there.
Right.
It's your honey hole now until someone else gets there, and then it's their honey hole, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is blown up. But it's not a big deal if you know how to find spots, or you just, you know what, I was looking for a spot when I found that one.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that guy that is a little bit perturbed because he's like, oh my gosh, I've been hunting here since I was 5 and my dad, and now I'm going 70 years old, and that guy just screwed me over. I mean, we watched a guy on the commission meeting out in Arizona. Basically, he's firing a gun across the canyon because these guys were in his spot. But if he's just like, you know what, I'll go find a new spot.
Yeah.
Like, not a big deal.
That's been sort of our audience. We years ago we stopped disclosing the state, the unit, the area that we're hunting. You might think it's Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah. It doesn't matter. We don't say the state. On the podcast, we might. Like, if you take the time to listen to that episode, we might talk about it there. We don't do it in the films, you know. you got to earn it a little more if you want to know more details. That's an hour-long conversation on a car ride.
Yeah.
So I want to make them dig for it if they want to get a little extra information. Because I do think, I think we can blow up spots. I can certainly blow up spots with the film.
Oh, sure.
And now a whole bunch of dudes just go into that same exact drainage in that same unit the next season. So we try to keep the films, the landmarks and the spots really ambiguous. And I throw in tons of footage from landmarks from units we're not in. It's all misdirection. So I like, I love it. I've been there. I know exactly where they're hunting. No, you don't. And part of that is
Go there.
Lampers is so careful about losing honey holes and spots he's worked hard to get. So I get it. We're all like that. We want to protect it. So we do our little part, but we still have to tell that story about hunting because it matters to us, and we think you have to win that culture war. You have to bring people along.
We need the community.
Inspire people to get out. Like, all of it's positive on that side. It does come at a cost. It's a little harder to get tags. Some units get exposed a little more than others. But we try to balance that. At the same time, we've said for years, don't look at where we're at.
Yeah.
This film isn't about where. Mm-hmm. This film is about how.
Yeah.
Just like you said.
How we're doing it.
Look at our gear. Look how far we hiked. This is realistic. We went 8 miles in before we started seeing good bears. Then we went off trail like 3 miles and we found these giants. And this is what it took to load them in the pack. This is how many trips it was. This is the raft we took to float out. This is how we did it. This is how. Go find yourself a drainage. Go load your gear up. Get this equipment. You do it too. But we can go, if that spot's not producing bears, we can go to 50 other spots we have figured out to get bears. It's because we know how to do it now. Like you were just saying, Garth. And that's where I'm at too. I'm really passionate about them learning how. But there is a lot in applications. Like applying, I hate it. I hate paperwork, and I would gladly outsource that to someone else if I thought the value proposition was a solid one.
Well, and your $55 one's not your only service. You have multiple, what do you call them, tiers?
Yeah, memberships. Yep, other membership types, yeah.
That allow you to get the one-on-one time with Garth on a phone call or the Huntin magazine or whatever it may be.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing applies. Like if you're not in that financial state where you can pay fully for applications across the West, like, and you want to have a conversation with us, I mean, we have a $100 tier currently that you can, call in. And if you want to put that work in yourself, I can go through, or our team can go through an application strategy for you if you want to apply yourself, if you can't afford to pay someone else. I mean, we still have all the tools available for you to do that yourself.
Right.
And we'll gladly walk you through it, even to the point where we have guys call in during, like, when they're actually online saying, the screen tells me this, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And then we can say, okay, well, now you got to put in your hunt code, and this is how this is. And then you graduate to the next page.
Seriously.
And then if you want to do elk, but we walk through that process if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, customer support.
Mm-hmm.
Garth really likes the phone calls where the guy's in the field and he tells him he can't find elk. Where should I go?
I remember Corey Jacobson got a phone call and he's like, Corey, what do I do? The elk is bugling. He's like, right now? Yeah, he's behind this tree. I can't get him. What do I say? And he's like, what do I do? And he's like, dude, hang up the phone and just keep trying. Like,
I have not had that one yet.
Do you know what I think a lot of that comes from is fear. Like, right? Nobody wants to fail, especially I think it's even harder on the male psyche than it is females probably overall. And we don't like to fail. And so we get this a lot because a lot of people who hunt the Midwest and have grown up their whole life, they're going to get a deer every year.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And so they want to know, how do I get an elk every year? Truth of the matter is, in the state of Idaho, where you're from, if you're an archery hunter, 9 out of 10 guys go home without an elk.
Right.
And if 10 out of 10 went home with an elk, we'd have to shut the seasons down.
Right. Yeah.
And so a lot of times we're trying to inspire people to be, back to Austin's point of like, go, get some experience, get some mud on your boots, get some sweat on your brow.
I think there's a massive audience right now in that boat who just, at least our audience, just wants to go hunting.
Yes.
They haven't done it.
Yes.
We have a huge audience, but it's intimidating.
Yes.
Where to start, how to apply, all that kind of stuff. We have a massive audience that's out there in that boat. They don't know.
Well, and
they have to be okay with the possibility of failure. Because again, 9 out of 10 people in Idaho on average on over-the-counter well, not over-the-counter anymore, but whatever you want to call it,
right.
archery hunts are not going to come home with an elk. And it's like, you have to kind of get used to that it's effort and it's sweat on the brow and it's experience, etc. But if you keep sitting out looking for that magic pill, like Brian Call has a secret. Brian, just like calling Corey Jacobson, like you just said, Corey, what do I say to this elk? It's like, hang up the phone and figure it out. Like Corey Jacobson might call to that elk and that elk might go whip around and charge up the mountain and be gone. I mean, I think I'm a decent elk caller, and occasionally I'm like, I'm going to throw these calls away because I suck.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, where it can help is coming out west can be pretty daunting.
Big time.
Especially elk hunting. One, it's their heaviest crap to pack out, and then the country that they are in. Yet again, there are still opportunities in much easier country that probably get overlooked. Can give guys that opportunity to come out, still hunt the elk, but not kill themselves in 10,000 foot peaks,
Most guys don't shop hunts that we deal with. If they're newer to the application game or coming out west, they don't shop by state. Maybe they have a state in mind they'd like to go to, but a lot of them will shop by species. I'm interested in mule deer, or I'm interested in elk, or I'm not a sheep guy, I don't ever want to hunt one, or bears. Everybody may be something different. Right. So generally they'll start there. I have no points. My wife's given me X kind of budget for mule deer hunts. What's my first, right? And we'll make a priority list. Definitely buy a point here. Definitely hunt here. Forget about these other states and just help them. Give you some clarity. We do this full time. This is not a little hobby business. Garth started his day. I heard his first call was to a biologist in Utah asking about a new deer hunt, right? Trying to get his information that he's going to interpret and therefore pass on to everybody else who asks about it. So that's cool. You never know what you're going to feel day to day coming in, but decipher it, run it through ours, and send it back out.
That fear of failure. Tim Ferriss, years ago, I read his book. He said, your success in life can be measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. And so that caused me to stop avoiding every uncomfortable conversation. Just done. If I want to be successful, I just got to dive in and just be bold and have it. And now it's become just second nature. But it's the same thing on hunting.
Uncomfortable situations.
It's your success in hunting can be measured by the number of times, your ultimate success by the number of failed hunts you go on. Like they just stack. You can't be capable until you've gone through the gauntlet of failure over and over again. And especially with archery, I keep going back to the younger me was like, so naive. Now I see experienced guys that are deadly killers and still they wet the bed in moments where they just shouldn't. Like you're like, well, that was a pretty easy shot, It's archery, dude. Archery's evil. It's got
evil. That's a great word for it.
Well, I think you have to go into excuse me. I think you have to go into every hunt, whether it's successful or not successful. It's still a successful hunt because every time you go out, and as much time as we spend out, you guys spend out, I learn something new on every hunt. It may be what the wind does in that area. It may be where water's at, or for a future hunt in that same area, sheep hunting especially, a lot of times water's dry up in those big avalanche chutes and stuff. But every hunt, and I would recommend anybody document that stuff. And I have a list of just every place I've been.
A journal diary.
A journal diary of I may not go there for another 15 years again, but I know from when I was there 15 years ago, okay, water was here, the wind was doing this at this time. And so every hunt, whether it's successful or unsuccessful in the harvest or the kill of that animal, you should still take it as a success because you can learn a lot from each and every hunt.
Well, and honestly, like when you get to the stage where you're just enjoying your time in the field, like when you take off out there, it's now when you look across that canyon and you see that bear go up over the next ridge, and it's a giant canyon, you know, but you're like, man, that's the only bear I've seen in 3 days. It was a big bear. I think I'm going to go after it. But you enjoy that process of dropping 1,500 feet and then diving back over just for the maybe the little chance that you might turn that bear up again. That was fun. All of a sudden, you spend more time in the field. You're out there a lot longer. You're having fun doing it. And all of a sudden, that success will start to come.
Yeah.
It just starts to fall in place.
It does. We really promote as many. We often talk about the number of successful hunts we'd go on if they were 5 days. You know, it dramatically hurts our Ryan and I talked about it. Okay, how many animals have we killed on day 9?
Yeah.
Day
12.
10. It's 80% of them.
Yeah.
It's 80%. So when you start doing that math, it helps people out there that go for 7-day hunts every year feel a little less bad about themselves.
Yep.
On an archery elk hunt, I mean, Ryan can be 2 days. I'm more of a 16-dayer.
Sounds like me.
You know, I mean, it's and so if I can only go 7 days, I'm going to kill every 4 years.
Yeah.
But if I can go for, 14 days in a row, I'm probably going to kill every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to your point too, Garth, the more time you spend out in the field and on those hunts, that bear that went over that ridge, the more time you spend out, you kind of get an understanding. Okay, it's going to take me 3 hours to get over there where, you know, when you don't have that understanding of how fast you can hike and through the terrain that you're in, you know, when you can start calculating that stuff, your hunt becomes way more efficient as it is, and which in turn is going to help success for sure.
Oh, I'm always amazed, like how much a human can cover ground. Like if you just,
and everybody's different.
yeah, it's like, oh, dang it, that's way too far away.
Shut
And
up,
it's
Brad.
like an hour later, you're there. You're like, oh, well.
I remember one of the
Big deal.
first hunts I did with Brian, like elk hunts, and these elk were going across, and I was like, I can go cut them off. Country I'd hunted quite a bit, whatever. And I'm like, I can go cut them off. Brian's like, there is no way in hell you are going to make it over there. I'm like, no, I can make it over there. I can cut them off. But when you grow up in that stuff, like, and some of us hike much faster than others.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm not hunting with Brad. I thought he was going to be my caller, but not anymore.
I just walk slow pace when I need to.
I'll walk slow enough. I'm a
I'm a 4
when I'm the
second
shooter,
gear guy.
you gotta wait. Like, cameraman's gotta lag behind.
I can shift it into overdrive with lampers, you know.
Yeah, I can
we
too.
go
I can
fast.
go high speed. I'm just gonna leave a
Sweat
puddle
a
of
lot
water
more.
after.
Yeah,
Especially on when it is a sprint, I'm good. It's the plodding. They just have longer legs, like way longer, and
You're
every
taking-
step.
Here's what I think. You know, we got to go from A to B. We're both going to get to the same place, but why do I want to keep that pack on longer and mock turtle it all the way up when I can speed it up there, you know? So
What's the age difference here?
I'm 50.
Hey, Lampers is
he's
older than him,
35.
and Lampers cruises. So
Yeah, he's also like 3 inches taller,
My dad's-
and his crotch
my-
is higher.
my
so
dad's
there's-
62 and 5'8", and he cruises, but he's slowing down, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I think you have to figure out, and the only way to do that is time in the field. That you have
Yeah.
to figure out how you hunt.
And you can't do that unless you actually get out each year and put in some time. And it's okay if you don't get something.
Yep.
You know, that's just part of being out there. And
because you did get something. You got
Yeah.
memories. You got experiences. You got a little bit closer toward your next kill.
yep. Yeah. Even when you're honing in, if you're going to backpack in, you're like, okay, I did this. I spent 3 nights on the mountain. Then I went back down to base camp. I carried about this much. You start to hone in your kit and your food and all that stuff. And it just makes you more deadly down the road as you get more and more tag opportunities and more hunts you get to go on. But if you don't hunt, you don't get any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are intimidated by their first hunts, especially coming out west
For sure.
and getting a tag and all of that.
But we help in all of that, right? Even logistics, like that's a big part of it. It is a big deal to load your truck up from Michigan and head all the way out to Montana somewhere. And Garth, I don't think there's a question you've ever not had, probably, from extra gas to, should I bring a side-by-side, what kind of tripod? Like, we'll help you with all of it. That's
really
what we
cool.
live to do.
That's really helpful. I almost flipped side by side a couple times this last year.
You may or may not have.
Off a cliff. Well, I did tip one over. That was fun. There's a lot of great opportunities though out there. Do you guys do anything out of country, like Mexico or
In the booking agency.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're basically worldwide, right?
Yeah,
For the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, a lot of Mexico, Canada. Yeah, I mean those are kind of the primary.
Yeah.
But we've got outfits in New Zealand, Argentina, Australia, the stands, Tajikistan,
I'd
all
love
that.
to go there, but not Tar. Ibex is like way high on the list.
Let's plan it.
I'll never probably do.
I feel like I'm too white
That's
for Tajikistan.
me too. That's
Josh,
what it is.
Mongolia.
Josh Harris just got back.
Isn't
from
it really
Tajikistan,
close
2
to
weeks
like
ago.
the Chinese rebels, like border?
What he killed his like right on the border of Afghanistan, didn't he?
Yeah. See that's the mountain.
Pedro keeps trying to get me to go.
Yeah.
Ampuero.
Yeah.
I'm like, Pedro, you're just way more brown than me.
It's
like
not
there's
the mountains that are
See,
intimidating.
that's probably
it's
how the people feel like from Michigan coming out to Montana. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way when I did my moose hunt. Like it was, I think the first hunt where I was like, once you get dropped off, like there's no going back. So it's like there's a slight intimidation factor of like, I've never done this. Brady's never done it. My brother's never done it. Like, what are we getting ourselves into?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of times, like, especially solo. Like that's why I always have the 10 mil. It's not necessarily for the bears or the cats. It's for the dude that comes walking up on me. It's a little more intimidating when I have that sitting right there.
You got to leave that home in Tajikistan.
Yeah, right. And so that's what worries me about those countries, because I'm a white, kind of gingerish looking guy. not the best thing to do is go hike around in that area.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know. Yeah, they're adventures though. I love.
They are.
I like. I'm a sucker for all the adventures. Getting dropped off, and like Lampers and I get dropped somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and it's like maybe they'll come back and get us. Either way, we're gonna try to grind it out.
We'll eat our way out if we have to.
I mean, we've had some pretty wild. That one day I didn't eat for 3 days. I ran out of food, and Lampers is determined to succeed. He's one of those people, and I am determined not to quit. So I ran out of food because he said we're going for 10 days. What he meant was 13, which was the last day of the season. He just thought we'd get done by 10 days. So I either go back or don't eat. And I'm not going to ask Ryan for food. He's like, you didn't bring extra just in case? No, Ryan. It was a 10-day hunt. And I just didn't eat.
I don't know if you guys watched Starvation Ridge on our bear hunt or not.
You guys did the
But
same
Ryan's
thing.
like, we'll go one night.
Never. I told Brad, I go, if Ryan says one night, add 2, add 3. Like, never believe him.
3.5 days later, we're still
He'll-
sitting on this ridge, and I'm like, I got one little packet of, like, I don't know if it's Mountain Ops Igniter. I'm like, well, that's dinner. I had to, like, save that. And he's like, I got coffee left. I'm like, you sucker. But he had 2 full days of meals plus snacks, and I had 1 day.
They had 2 errors. They crossed a river during the spring runoff, and it rose like 8 feet
We watched it get real chocolate.
overnight. And they're like, well, we're just going to zoom up there and kill this giant bear.
Mhm.
So no worries.
With the
and
potential of
and
killing 2.
And we'll come back down. Well, the bear disappeared. Well, we'll just stay here till tomorrow.
He'll show up.
He'll show up. Doesn't show up. We'll just stay here another day. River's too high. Can't cross. We are starving to death on the other. We're waving at you from the other side of
It
the river.
was sketchy.
We had pack rafts, but it was just too gnarly to.
Our 20-foot by 40-foot sandbar disappeared, and you went to trees,
Cliffs and rocks and
and
death.
you would just watch, like, as the water would turn more and more chocolate milk, and it'd rush down. You'd hear, because it'd ripping trees down because it was filling up way above the banks of the water. And we ended up.
Yeah, one time when I first was with Ryan, we had icebergs coming down the river at Mach speed, and we had to like shoot the gauntlet without getting hit by these giant ice chunks that were breaking loose.
It's
but
at
yeah,
that time you're like, hey, this is a bear hunt. Wait a minute.
that was a mule deer hunt, and they were giant. So I was like,
It's worth
it was
it.
worth it. But bear, no. Yeah, the bear, no.
Yeah.
But I would say, before we wrap up, people that don't know, you guys have a great magazine and have for a really long time. So tell folks a little bit about that don't know.
Yeah, so the magazine is still produced every single month, has been for
It's so good.
volume 30. And so each magazine is 100 to 150 pages of content that's produced entirely in-house. We don't outsource any
That's
of the
a
articles.
lot.
And all of our state research is contained within the magazine. So all the write-ups from Garth and the team of advisors is written in there, and it's updated every single year, and it matches the state deadlines. So in the January edition, you get the Wyoming, Arizona
Right.
elk information in time to research and apply for that deadline. Then the February edition, totally different. New
And you're letting
states,
people
new
know, hey,
stories.
there's a potential issue this year. They changed this to this or that. There's a
all the
disclaimers
changes,
and-
all the trends of harvest success, draw odds, are the sizes of bulls going up, going down, our opinion on it. It's all opinion based, right?
Yeah.
This is based
Yeah,
on
yeah.
our team and our research.
And what does it cost for someone who wants a 12-month subscription like that?
Yep. So if they want just the magazine, not the ability to talk to a hunt advisor for a consultation, it's $100 a year for all 12 issues.
Jeez.
And the digital version. All our online tools are accessible as well. If you want to talk to Garth and get the printed magazine, $150 a year. It might seem like a lot, but it is entirely worth your time to avoid diving through state regulations and forums looking for the right answer. We'll get you right to the correct answer.
I mean, the reality is, when I joined Huntin' Fool years and years ago, it was $100 a month then. Like
A year.
Sorry. That's what you had to pay then. And that's been 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't
We're keeping
So-
it affordable.
yeah.
Yep. We want to be the best value you spend investing in your future hunts every year.
I love it.
Very impressive.
All right. Where do people go if they want to learn more?
Well, you can drive down and see us in Cedar City, Utah. We're right on
Just like you guys.
right on Main Street.
That's cool.
We got a gear shop. We got some mounts. We can show you around. But huntinfool.com, no G in hunting. That's our website. Has been, always will be. You can sign up right on there. You can.
Huntinfool.com, no G.
And one thing that's a little different about us too, we have a full-time customer service team. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're going to get a person on the phone. We've got a really simple decision tree. I think there's one button generally that you have to push if you would like, I want to go to Outfitters, boom, you land there. I want to go to whatever. So, but yeah, full-time customer service team. They can walk you through the nuances of the membership. They can take your credit card over the phone, get you signed up. They know tons. They'll take this magazine every single month and they will dog ear it like crazy. They have all these little tabs. And that way they try to be able to be your first and best resource. Like, hey, Brian, no, it is time for the Wyoming application. And here, let me read a little section to you real quick. Like, they're awesome. Great customer service team.
What's your giveaway you have going on right now?
Nobody needs to worry
we
about
put
it
this-
because they're just giving it to me.
We put this podcast out. Let's say we
We've
put it
already
out
canceled
tomorrow. If we put it out tomorrow, when's the deadline? How much time?
It's the deadline
Grand
is February
Slam.
28th.
Yep.
February 28th.
That's
Yep,
the deadline.
So we've
So
got
the
we've
grand
got
some
window.
time.
It is
Okay.
for the first, to our knowledge, the first time anybody has ever given away a full Grand Slam of North American wild sheep.
One
It's a
person.
Rocky, a desert, a doll, and a stone, all fully guided. Plus, we've already covered all the gratuities, all the taxes, etc. The only thing you got to do is travel there and back. It's a 2-year.
Don't you feel like this is a little over the top? This
It's
giveaway.
$335,000 worth of prizes.
This is insane.
It's the biggest one we've ever done. Believe me, I was puckered. Isaiah's been trying to get me to do this for almost 3 years. And every time I'm like, no, I'm not.
just
too-
like-
Couldn't you got the same results out of one sheep?
we give sheep away. Every,
That's
we
all
gave
I'm
a sheep
asking.
away
I've done a
last
lot of giveaways. My audience is very familiar with them.
We don't
I'm
know.
always weighing this thing. Like we just did a wolf hunt
Yep.
giveaway and a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, sometimes I get just as much participation if I just give you a gift card. Like
I know.
So I'm just
Trust me.
business. I'm just asking.
He and I write the checks for these hunts, and we pay full price, especially sheep. Nobody gives anybody any discounts on sheep hunts anymore. Yeah, we've got $335,000 on the line. One winner. We'll draw live. All of our drawings are live. We want full transparency.
Yeah.
We'll draw a winner the first week of March.
Yep.
Come see us too. If this releases before trade show season, we'll be at SCI. We'll be at Hunt Expo. Come in, stop in, say hi, get to know us a little bit more.
I mean, literally in that, like they could win it without anything.
But how do you win? What do you do?
You buy an entry.
Entries are
$200.
$200.
Really?
Or a package of 6 for $1,000.
Package of 6 entries for $1,000.
So you get a discount if you buy 6.
If you buy 6, or $100.
I'll slip you a 10.
$200. No, the reason, again, I wanted to do it for years just because, I'm not a sheep hunter. And at some point I was like, oh, I might be able to afford a sheep hunt.
Right.
Now I look at it and go, there's no way that's going to happen. Like right now it's not in my cards to go buy a sheep hunt. So it's like, seriously, as little as $200, we're going to give it away to one person. I mean, they could win a full Grand Slam.
And the dream of a Grand Slam is almost like non-existent to this day, unless you're uber wealthy. I mean, even if you can luck out and draw a desert and draw Rocky, you're still going to have to buy the stone.
Right.
You're still going to have to buy the doll unless you live there. So it's like...
It's unheard of.
Yeah. So it's almost to the extent where it's like, man, we just want to keep the dream alive.
Well, everybody says that once you hunt sheep, you get the bug. So we're like, okay,
look,
if
if I put in and I do it between now and February 28th, there's still a chance.
That's right.
You're saying there's
you're
a
in
chance.
there. You're in the game, so you're saying there's a chance.
The thing, the way I look at these things, like lottery ticket kind of stuff, if the price is there and the prize is substantial, it's like I got to try it. I got to put in, because you can't be that magical guy that did it. And it's not the best odds, but
no,
it's chance. And every time we do a giveaway, somebody wins.
Yes.
Somebody wins.
That's the truth. Is somebody's going to come out of that bin first week of March that's going to have a Grand Slam on their table.
The reality is, what does it cost for a non-resident to apply in Idaho for one sheet?
Just 20.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, you're almost $300 non-refundable.
That's interesting.
$300
after they send your money
you
back.
might draw.
You have probably worse odds.
And you don't have a guide.
Yep.
And you don't have 4 species.
You don't have 4. Yeah.
We did spread the
stone sheep itself is worth
years.
it. Yeah. So
But you're saying
Look,
there's a chance.
Yeah.
I wasted all my money.
If I win, I expect to be live, no take backs.
I can see it right now. Austin pulls out. He's like, ooh, slide that one under.
This one looks fishy. I don't want any of that,
Footage. The live stream just stopped.
Like I said, we're gonna bring in one of our kids to go up there, draw it, and pull it out.
We get sweaty palms when you start pulling sheep tags out of there.
This one's going to be sweaty.
Yeah.
Well, I spent all my money on New Year's Eve with left, right, center game because my friends are high rollers, and I decided to play it. I'm like, yeah, there's a chance, and I lost my freaking butt on that game, so multiple times.
So they can go to huntinfool.com and they can find the giveaway there.
/win.
What are you calling it?
The Grand Slam sheep
Grand
giveaway.
Slam sheep giveaway.
Yep.
And $200 and they're in.
Yep. And no matter how many entries we sell, it's done February 28th. We're not going to extend it. So the draws are the draws when the dust settles on February 28th. Yep. That's why I was scared. Because I'm like, well, hopefully we can pay for the hunts. We're going to pay for them one way or the other, upside down or hopefully sideways at least.
Yeah. No, we've done that too. It's been fun doing giveaways. Yeah. Whoever wins, I have 2 feelings. We do the draw. I feel great for that guy, and I feel bad for
everybody else.
That's
the worst part, right?
Yeah, I hate it. My wife lectured me. By the way, we picked 4 finalists. We read their names, and then we said, okay, random draw. Oh, here are the winners. She's like, if you're one of those 3 who didn't get it, feels like you and Brad should have said you get a hat, you get something.
Something.
She's like,
I don't even get gritty gear.
She's like, I am so
upset about this, and I'm like, you're right. We probably should have had a little runner up. Just
We will probably have to
Thank
pull
you.
a runner up for this one.
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely pull a runner up, and we'll do something nice.
yeah.
Like a sticker.
Maybe some
Can't afford anything else.
hiking kit.
After the sheep hunt, that's all you can afford.
Real quick, touch on like the gearful stuff because we didn't really touch on that.
Yeah, you guys do have gear.
Yeah, no. So a couple of years ago, had an opportunity to. We've always wanted to move into gear because again, we are kind of a complete hunting solution.
Yeah.
And almost every conversation touches on gear in some capacity. You were just saying it earlier. It's easier than ever to actually spend multiple days outside in relative comfort.
Yeah.
It's easier than it's ever been. So anyway, yeah, our conversations go that way anyway. So now we have a complete gear solution as well. It's called gearfool.com. You can check it out on there. Members get extra privileges, of course. Huntin' Fool members get extra privileges inside of that for the reward system. And yeah, it's a comprehensive kind of higher end backpacking outdoor adventure gear store. We don't sell guns. We don't sell bows, but there's a lot of archery equipment on there, and then just piles of everything from trekking poles and gaiters to outdoor sleep solutions, freeze-dried meals, you name it. Yeah, it's at gearfool.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, folks, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Guys, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having us down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay gritty, folks.